And welcome to my I Love Learning podcast. And today I have a last minute change, but a beautiful and great change it is. Our guest that was supposed to appear today is stuck on a train. So joining me today is Alyssa Musick, and she is joining me from Charleston, South Carolina. Alyssa is an executive assistant at Luma Brighter Learning, and I am so pleased and so grateful that she was able to join me at the very last minute today, so that you could all meet her and learn great lessons from her. So, Alyssa, thank you for joining me today.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Always happy to spend some time with you, Gina.
Oh, thank you so much. So, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone and tell them really what you're passionate about?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as Gina said, my name is Alyssa Musick. I'm based in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm very happy to be working at Luma. And a big reason for that is because my passion is helping others. That's always been a huge passion in my life, professionally and personally. And when the opportunity came up to work at Luma, I know Luma to be a very kind company with kind people who are all about helping others. So it's a perfect match for me to be working here. And, every day I work here, I get to help others, get to have an impact on others in a kind way. So that's really what I'm about and what I get to do every day here.
I love that. Yeah. Interestingly enough, I did a presentation yesterday for the Marsh Insurance Group, specifically about driver mental health and how gratitude really can help us feel better and kind of really help our moods. And, I think everyone has gone through hurdles or faced hurdles or have really stood in the way of their passion. And sometimes it can be really hard to kind of think about how you can move forward when you faced a hurdle or a roadblock. Can you kind of talk through, has there ever been a time in your life that maybe you faced a roadblock or a hurdle that stood in your way of helping other people?
Yeah, absolutely. So my career up until this point has always been very people focused, very
Mm.
wanting to help others. I've tried to take that passion and not only do that personally, but very professionally. Really try to help others and impact their lives in a positive way. So, in a previous role that I had, where I was in a customer success position, my main goal in my roles is always to help the customer, help the client in the best way that I can to make their lives easier, give their lives a break from whatever it is that I can help them with. And really just that basis of just helping them out. In a previous role, um, it was impacted, the ability for me to help others by the company I was working for was much more focused on the technology
Mm.
and being able to push that forward and being cutting edge, instead of listening to actually what the clients wanted. So that was really difficult for me to, hear all these things, hear all these requests, all this feedback from customers saying, "Hey, this is, we'd really love to see this. This is what's working for us. This actually isn't very beneficial for us," and really not having that feedback go anywhere. To hear from people
Mm.
at this company saying, you know. Continue bringing us feedback, but at the end of the day, this is our roadmap. This is where we're
Mm.
headed. And it just wasn't customer focused at all. And I did not stay with that company very long, because I really just couldn't support that vision. It was, completely the opposite of, what my heart's about, what I'm about. So that was really a hurdle for me to continue working day to day
Mm.
and have those discussions day to day with customers, knowing that we're actually not working for you. That was
Mm.
really tough on me.
Got it. I think that's a really important message for two messages really for anyone listening today, kind of from a leadership perspective. When you really aren't listening to not only maybe your employees, like truly listening, I mean, having empathy for the people around you, and understanding kind of where they're coming from. It's so important, to take a moment and pause and listen and hear what your employees and or your clients are saying. And I think a lot of times, when you go to work and you're not heard, or you don't feel like you're heard or valued or appreciated, it honestly leaves an impact on you, even the little things. And so, as an employee, when you feel these things like you're not appreciated or you're not seen or valued or heard, it can really change kind of your trajectory of your career,
Absolutely.
or your path. And so, I think it's important to remember, especially we're in Mental Health Awareness Month, and this is something that we should always pay very particular attention to. And one of the reasons I have my podcast is you just have to really, know that even the simple things that you say or not say, or seen or unseen, can have an impact on those around you. And the thing about Alyssa, and it sounds like Alyssa was strong enough and had the courage enough to move forward, in her journey towards her passion. So, was there something that inspired you, or something that you thought to yourself when you knew that you weren't being seen or valued or heard, that really made you think to yourself, I'm going to be okay. I'm not moving forward in the way that I want. Is there anything you can like remember or think back to that you told yourself that it's okay, you're going to continue forward and move forward with your journey?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable with what you're doing and what you're putting out in the world day to day. And for
Mm,
me, I always want to feel authentic in what I'm doing. And that particular role didn't allow me to feel like I was being my authentic self because I was, in that role I was told to just tell customers we're working on it, absolutely, we'll put that on our list, we'll absolutely work towards that. And that wasn't genuine. There was
mm,
no there was no possibility that these were the things that were going to get pushed to the front, and actually be fixed for clients. They were basically we were just candy coating it for them, when really there was just this technological push of what their vision was, and they wanted to meet this certain vision. So at the end of the day, I just said, you know, I can't be here and, be happy with myself with what I'm doing every day when
mm,
I wake up, every day when I go to sleep. I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled.
mm,
I'm not doing a service to, any of these customers. And I just, at the end of the day, I don't want to be involved with it. So as hard as it is to leave a position, whether you're happy in it or not,
mm,
certainly, there, um, even if you don't like certain things about your job, there's other things you do like coworkers, maybe location, commute, anything like that. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel authentic in that role. And, for me, that was enough to say, I need to do something else. I need to find something where I feel like I'm helping people. I feel like what I'm doing is honest.
Yeah, I like that. Having integrity for yourself, I think is definitely important to
Yes,
consider. So,
I
if
agree.
you're moving through your day and day life and you're not feeling like you're really moving towards your authentic purpose, it's something definitely to reflect on. So, with this idea of having an authentic purpose, Alyssa, was there something that you learned? I mean, where did this come from? Like, when did you realize, or how did you know that that was your authentic purpose? Like, your purpose is living with, this authentic truth of what you enjoy and what your passion is. Was there something, that you can pinpoint, or that you learned something that really left an impact on you with this thinking?
I think that for me, we grow up and we're always seeing on TV, we're seeing in magazines, we're seeing, all these different things that are pushed to us in media that aren't real.
Mm.
And even, as coming of age in this, reality TV world, they
Mm.
call it reality TV. Of course, it's fake. It's seeing that and getting a little bit older, going through college and looking back and going, growing up, being a young girl, a young woman, these are the things you're seeing day to day, and they're not real. And I want to make sure
Mm.
I am living my life in a way that is real, that is reflective of who I am, who I want others to see that I am, to see the real me, to be very authentic,
Mm.
and to not put on this persona. In this day and age, very much there's that social media persona of
Mm.
look how wonderful my life is. Everything is so great. I, look at my perfect family, my perfect this, that, the other. And it's not real. It's a facade that people put on to show off their what they want others to see. So in that way, I want to be very authentic with who I am. Like I said, personally, professionally, that's very important to me. To really show who I genuinely am, what I'm genuinely about, what my passions are, and not have a facade, not show someone I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think many times, people don't take the time or maybe even aren't introspective enough to think about what really defines who they are, and really what that takes a lot of reflection, meditation, thinking, considering, and finding out really what is your passion. And when you
Yeah.
define your passion by your work, a lot of times you
Mhm.
hear people that have worked, and then they stop, they retire, and they seem lost, like they don't have a passion.
Right.
Because when you think about it, it's really about not necessarily what you do, but what's inside you that allows you to do
Mhm.
what you do, right? And so it's imperative to define what authentic learning and what authentic self means to you so that you can move forward and be happy and ultimately be happy.
For sure.
So what makes you happy every day? Like what is it that inspires you to continue to learn and grow? Is there anything in particular that you do to that makes you happy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fortunate that a lot of things make me happy. From just waking up and having, my morning coffee, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Getting to see my family, my husband, my son, those experiences make me so happy, and make me feel really grateful that I get to see them every day. I'm
Mhm.
grateful, I think, we talked before about gratitude. Gratitude makes me happy. Just sitting
Mhm.
back and thinking about how lucky I am to have these different things, to wake up and have the people in my life, have have my house, have the roof over
Mhm.
my head, be able to wake up and make coffee. The taking that step back and looking at what I have and being grateful for it, that makes me really happy and provides just such a great perspective of what I have and how grateful I am to have it.
Absolutely. That, we find when we do, and I said this yesterday when I was speaking to a group about when you do something specific for someone else, just because you want to do it for someone else, it does make you, and there are neuroscientific things that happen inside your brain when that is happening. And there's studies that actually show this on MRI imaging of what it looks like inside your brain when you are doing kind things and you are showing gratitude or experiencing that. So it does make you feel better. Absolutely. When you think of authentic learning, so you've been through a lot of school,
Sure.
and someone may say, let's design this authentic learning experience. What does authentic learning look like to you? Have you had a learning experience that you would define as being authentic?
Yeah, yeah. For me, I think authentic learning is, going back to authentic being like your most true self. I think that authentic learning, you have to somehow relate it to to yourself.
Mm.
You have to have some sort of a personal connection with it, in
Mhm.
order to create that authentic connection. Now, if you're learning about, ancient Greece, you certainly don't have to,
Yeah.
be, ancient or Greek to, have that connection. But, you have to find something in it that excites you, something in it that,
Mm.
you can make a personal connection with. And I think that's
Mhm.
when that learning goes from becoming just, learning, maybe something that's gonna, leave your mind and, the next, 8 to 12 hours, versus, that authentic learning experience. I feel like, a really early learning experience for me, my third grade teacher, who
Aw,
actually ended up, she looped with us. She was my fourth grade teacher and my fifth grade teacher.
wow.
So what a wonderful 3 years of getting to learn from the same person. She was the first teacher I had, and my teachers up to that point I thought were great. She was the first one that really, I feel like, authentic learning was really important to her, and to impart that to, all of her students. She
Mm.
very much her name was Miss Falig, um,
Mm.
and she very much, focused on making sure that we were all learning. And, you have maybe 25, 30 kids in a class, making sure
Mhm.
all of us individually were excited about learning. That if we weren't, how can I give you a different perspective on this? How can I make this exciting for you? And for me, that is kind of the very, um, beginning of authentic learning, and showing me, that's what it's all about. Finding something that sparks your interest, finding some sort
Aw.
of relation to what you're learning about, to, really take it from just your learning to giving that authentic learning experience.
Yeah, find that one thing that maybe you don't even
Yeah.
know might spark interest inside of you and
Yeah,
really making that
absolutely.
connection. And you actually build strong neural connections when you can relate
Mhm.
something that may not directly apply to you to something that you have a memory with or that's meaningful to you. So, absolutely. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
Alyssa, a lot of times I have, because of the company, different drivers and different people who might mention in feedback that they've really lost their passion, and they've lost their passion for learning. Maybe they're feeling down, maybe something really significant like lost their job, or
Yeah.
I just wrote an article on grief. Maybe lost someone they truly loved, and don't see really how they're going to get out of bed the next day. Like, how are they going to wake up and do anything? And so, what advice, given your experiences, could you provide to someone that is struggling like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really empathize with anyone that is feeling, a sense of loss, feeling, kind of in a funk, or, in kind of a learning rut, if you will. I really empathize with anyone that's feeling like that. I think sometimes the best thing we can do in those circumstances is maybe get a little out of our comfort zone, and maybe just look at something from a different perspective. So, if you've really lost your passion for learning, lost your passion for, your job, or, what have you. If you're always trying to learn in a certain way, if you're always, reading on the computer, that's how you do it. Maybe you can find a way to, meet in a small group. Maybe,
Mm,
do something, learn a different way, take a different approach to try and invigorate that passion that you once had. I think taking a different perspective is always, in many things in life, the best thing we can do to keep things interesting, to, keep yourself interested, even if it's something that you really care about. It might become redundant. It might become, boring to you if you always do something the same way. So,
mm.
maybe get out of that comfort zone a little bit. Might be hard. We have comfort zones because they're comfortable. We feel safe there. But getting outside of it and maybe just taking a look at something, doing something a little different, getting out of our shell a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
I think that's the advice I would give. And it's hard because it is a little uncomfortable, but I think it's really rewarding in the end if you can do that, because I think it can, reignite your spark. It can maybe provide something you never
Mhm.
knew that you really enjoyed. Maybe you really like learning in small groups. Maybe a peer-to-peer discussion is, really, really valuable to you. Maybe you do learn better discussing rather than just learning, by reading or doing something online. However you're learning, just switch it up a little bit.
I like that, trying a different approach. And for those of you that really are struggling with this, I am working on a book that I will be publishing soon where I provide different strategies to really help you build more grit, more willpower, and feeling like you can move towards the mind of a champion, even if you're feeling lost and hopeless. So I look forward to doing that. And Alyssa, thank you so much for jumping in today and for being here for us. And if someone wants to connect with you and learn about your journey of, inspiring you to switch careers, to
Yeah.
find new opportunities, to connect with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am, of course, always available through Luma. So you can be sure to reach out to me at Luma. And that would probably be the best way, honestly, because I'm here Monday through Friday, and I would be happy to connect with anyone that wants to chat about learning or about authentic learning. That would be wonderful.
Awesome. Alyssa's on LinkedIn. Look her up. I'll post a follow up. And thank you so much for being here today.